whether it's within the medical profession, whether it's within government, who will be held accountable? That is my question. I want you to give me some answers, please. Farage@gbnews.com. I think I know the answer. No one. Because there never are in this country. Sunak later on in his speech talked about moral failure. Well, that moral failure, I'm afraid, is all pervasive in British institutions. Jason Evans, who you saw a moment ago, is director and founder of Factor 8. Jason, we just saw you in that clip a moment ago. For those that don't recall, just tell us quickly about Factor 8.
So this was a new pharmaceutical product that came out in the 70s, and it was made, unlike a regular blood transfusion, you receive one unit of blood from one volunteer donor on the NHS. This was made by mixing together tens of thousands of plasma donations from, as you say, the prison inmates, other high-risk sources in the US, other countries as well, condensed down into a white powder, freeze-dried white powder. That's the Factor 8. And every single bottle of it was infected with hepatitis C throughout the 70s and 80s, and about a third with HIV.
And has anybody in the pharmaceutical industry been held to account?
Nobody, with the exception of Japan, where we saw the Green Cross, that's one of the companies in Japan, where you did see accountability there. But in the West, in the US, here, no one. And we're talking about huge companies. The inquiry has named those companies: Bayer, Baxter, Revlon Healthcare, huge companies. And there has been no one held to. And we were warned by US lawyers coming into this inquiry. They said, you watch, you'll get a little bit of justice, but the people that made money off killing people, they won't be held to account.
Jason, I guess for you it's a fairly bittersweet day in a way. I mean, your father died when you were very young, directly as a result of this. You lost an uncle as well. So, I mean, your whole life has been, radically upset and hurt by this. And yet, after all these years, and you've been there battling away, at least today you've had your day. You've dominated the news agenda completely all day. You've managed to put your case out, probably to many, many millions of people who were only vaguely aware that there was a problem. How do you feel at the end of a long day like this?
Well, I was 4 years old when my dad died of AIDS in '93. And so I was born into the fallout of this scandal. And for me personally, I've worked on this day and night for about 10 years now. And so to get to this point where finally we've got the truth and we've got some answers, it's extremely important beyond words. And we had specifically asked the government, I met with the Paymaster General John Glenn on the 2nd of May, and we specifically asked, please don't announce compensation today, because we want today to be about the truth and the facts.
Yeah, well, you've done that. You've done that very successfully. A lot of very emotional testimony. I suspect tomorrow's, by the way, very big public crowd outside all day. People who weren't directly affected just felt they wanted to be there. I watched it at lunchtime. I couldn't quite believe, what was going on. So you've done that. You've woken lots of people up. As I say, the press tomorrow will be full of many of the awful stories and the stories that are still happening, today. Compensation of some kind is coming. You are at the moment the lead claimant in a High Court case. Where does this all go next? I mean, what is justice for you?
It's very difficult, isn't it? I mean, we had the apology from Rishi Sunak, detailed though it was. It's not from the person, the people responsible.
It's the point I made. Yeah.
And so I think ultimately at this removal of time from what happened, an apology from the state, compensation, it's probably the closest we're ever going to get. Personally, I'm not seeing the criminal prosecutions. I hope I'm wrong. I'm just not seeing it. But the main form of closure, I think that I and the other families will get, is that tomorrow morning, for the first morning in decades, we get to wake up and know we no longer have to fight for the truth, at least.
Well, look, I wish you luck with it. A sum of up to £10 billion is being touted. Do you have any idea what they're going to offer?
I've heard that figure too. I've heard it's going to be funded through government borrowing, so it doesn't have to be scored in the budget. That was reported by the Times over the weekend. We're expecting tomorrow, when the Paymaster General comes with his compensation announcement, to hear the tariffs of compensation. So if you were infected with hepatitis C, X amount, HIV, X amount. So tomorrow we should get those numbers.
And yet, money's one thing, It's not really enough, is it?
It certainly doesn't bring people back. It
No.
doesn't give people a new liver or anything like that. So, it's difficult. But at the end of the day, people have financially lost an incredible amount.
Yeah.
And that it's right that is restored.
Well, Jason, well done you.
Thank you.
You've stood up, you've fought, you've campaigned, taking on the British state and all the different sectors of the British state, the giant big pharma industry. It's a heck of a difficult thing to do, and you've done it very, very successfully. I congratulate you, and I'll bet you every single person watching this now does as well.
Thank you.
Good luck, and I hope it brings you some sort of closure.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.